This video is sponsored by Brilliant. Hey guys, this looks like a fun one. It's a matrix multiplication meme. It makes it look like all you have to do is take the 3 from here and the 7 from here and get 37, or 4 and 2 and get 42, and so on. That process of just copying the numbers is not the correct way to do matrix multiplication, but this equation is still correct. And that's what the meme is all about. They found a specific case that makes it look easy, but it's actually a little trickier than that. Let's go through the correct way to do matrix multiplication. After you multiply these two 2x2 matrices, you're going to end up with one 2x2 matrix. And let's find the first row and the first column. So we're going to take the first row of the first matrix and the first column of the second matrix. We multiply this 3 by this 7, and then we're going to add this 4 times this 4. So the first row, first column, use the first row and the first column. Now let's do the same thing for the first row, second column. We're going to take the first row and the second column. The 3 is going to multiply by the 2, and we're going to add to that the 4 times the 9. And then for the second row, first column, we're going to use the second row and the first column. It'll be 8 times 7 plus 7 times 4. And then for the second row, second column, it's going to be the second row, second column. 8 times 2 plus 7 times 9. This is 21 plus 16, which is equal to 37. And then this one is 6 plus 36, which is 42. This one is 56 plus 28, which is equal to 84. And this one is 16 plus 63, which is equal to 79. So the math checks out. This is a true equation showing matrix multiplication. So this has got to be rare, right? I'm kind of curious how many of these exist, where you don't have to do the actual matrix multiplication, you can just copy over the digits. So let's copy this down and let's give it 8 variables: A, B, C, and D, and X, Y, Z, and dubs. And then we want to figure out how do we make this matrix. In order to get 37, we have to do 10 times this one plus this one. So this first spot is going to be 10 times the A plus the X. And then for the next one, we have 10 times the B plus the Y, and so on. We'll have 10 times C plus Z, and 10 times D plus dubs. So to find the solutions of this, first let's do this multiplication. Using our rules from before, it'll be A times X plus B times Z, A times Y plus B times dubs, C times X plus D times Z, and C times Y plus D times dubs. And that'll still be equal to this matrix. And now for this to be true, we can set the corresponding parts equal to each other. We want to know when AX plus BZ is equal to 10A plus X. And same thing for the rest of these. And now we have 4 equations and 8 variables. It's possible for there to be many solutions of this. It's probably going to take too long to go through this by hand, so let's use a Python script. I think we should restrict these to single digits. And for the first matrix, each digit should be between 1 and 9. And for the second matrix, they can be between 0 and 9. And that's because it would look weird for any of the tens digits to be zeros. So we can let A, B, C, and D be anything between 1 and 9. And X, Y, Z, and dubs can be anything between 0 and 9. And for all those values, we will check each of the equations. And then let it print out anything that works. How many do you think will work? After running the Python script, I believe there are exactly 100 different successful ways to do this. I spot checked about a dozen of them and all of those worked. Unless I made a mistake, I suspect all 100 will work. I think it's interesting there's exactly 100 different successful ways you can make this meme. This looks important, let's put a box around it. So 100 sounds like a lot, but in reality, how many different possible ways could you set this up? It would end up being 9 for this, times 9 for this, times 9 for this, times 9 for this, 10 for this, 10 for this, 10 for this, 10 for this. There ends up being 65,610,000 different ways you could set this up. Even though there are 100 different successful ways, they're actually pretty rare. The probability that a random one works is 100 out of 65,610,000. Or in other words, 1 out of 656,100. This looks important. Let's put a box around it. I love matrix multiplication. I think this is really interesting. If you want to learn more about matrix multiplication, writing Python scripts, probability statistics, or tons of other topics, Brilliant has you covered. Brilliant has thousands of lessons in math, data analysis, programming, and AI. And all of them are interactive, which is the most effective way to learn. Linear algebra is one of my favorite topics, and there are so many different levels of comprehension. Even though I took linear algebra classes in college, the linear algebra courses on Brilliant.org gave me some new perspectives. They also reminded me of things I'd forgotten about and helped me fine-tune my skills. And I had fun doing it. And I think everybody can benefit from learning more about programming and AI. The possibilities are endless with what you can create online as long as you know how. I think Brilliant's a great way to have fun learning as much as you can about it. To try Brilliant for free, visit brilliant.org/andymath or scan the QR code on the screen. Or you can click on the link in the description. You can also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. How exciting!